Hello, everyone.
It's the Tiff and Jack Show, a podcast devoted to helping you dump the overwhelm and live the happy. Today is episode number 27. I don't understand the words coming out of your mouth. It's all about perception and what the way you see something and the way someone else sees something is entirely different.
Yes.
And we're going to make that very clear for you today because Tiff and I have each come up with 5 words that the other does not know are the words they're going to have to tell their meaning of the word.
Have you cheated and looked at the words I'm going to ask you?
I'm not a cheater. I don't cheat. Well, I sometimes at games, maybe.
Do you really?
You know, I was always known for being a cheater at games.
Are you kidding me?
But I don't believe that's true about me. I think that was just someone else's perception.
Oh,
speaking of perception.
Okay, be honest. Were you a game
Yes,
cheater?
I was a game cheater.
Oh
That
my
was-
God, I did not
listen,
know that.
that-
I don't know what I think about that.
That was in my past life.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Like, that's going to take me a minute. I don't know if
Okay.
I can do this podcast.
Oh, wow. we just may have to sign off right now. Well, it is public because we're recording this over
So it's
Google
live.
Stream. It's live.
Oh,
We are
gosh.
live. So it's out
What
there.
you hear is what you get.
It's been, let's set the stage a little bit for today. In fact, I was going to light the candle in front of us. It's a rainy, cool, cloudy morning. Today is a Tuesday of all days.
Yes.
And Tiff should be in bed taking her second sleep right now. But no, we're in the mood. We're going to record this podcast.
I am in the mood, baby.
We didn't get it done this weekend as planned. Typically, we get them done and launch them Monday morning. But Tiff had a serious ear canal infection that she was managing some pretty intense pain. So it was probably best that I let her rest.
So bad. Oh my God.
Instead of whipping your ass to the chair to get you to record the podcast. We always have a lot of things to say and things that always come up during the week. And
It's
then
funny
you kind of
because every week we're like, oh, we've got to talk about that on our
I know.
podcast. And a lot of it we forget, but we try to take notes.
Yeah, that's the only way.
Yeah. So much
I
happens
remember
in a week.
it's been
for
a
us.
great, we had a very wonderful family gathering on Sunday.
Not,
Oh, it was
it was the Sunday before last.
Oh, it was. Oh
Yeah.
my God, it's been a while, hasn't it?
mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. And we played some games. We decided that we were going to engage our kids, our grown adult kids, and play some games. Tiff even had some gift prizes. She put out,
Yes.
and it's
For
amazing.
the winner, and our kids are damn competitive.
It's amazing what it does. So as each of the kids got here, we would hand them the first game that we played, we'd hand them a sheet of stickers, and they each had 10 stickers that they had to stick on other people without them knowing. And if the person found out that you were sticking one of your stickers on them, they got to stick 2 of their stickers on you.
Yeah.
And the first person that got out of their stickers won. Oh, you should have seen
It
the
was
competition
hilarious.
that
And
was
we're
happening.
still cleaning up stickers from our grandbaby
'Cause
because we
she
gave
had-
her stickers too. And she was playing
Stickers
except
on the windows and stickers on the floor and,
And
on the
stickers on the
carpet and on the
blinds.
couches.
It was
It's so
awesome.
cute. Every time we see one, it reminds me of her.
I know.
So cute. And then the next game that we played
Oh my
was
gosh.
hilarious.
So funny.
I was trying to come up with a really great game, and I was thinking that we need to use the phone in some way. Everyone has their phone in their hand all the time, right? So I thought, well, okay, what we'll do is I'll make everyone take my phone one at a time and record themselves making pig noises like that. Like that. And then we all sat around.
Oh my God, it was so funny. Okay.
Then we all sat around and had to guess who was making which pig sound.
And whoever got the most guesses right
Correct,
won the present.
It was so fantastic.
It was so funny.
In fact, you keep sharing. For a minute. I'm gonna find one of these pig noises because you need to.
I
hear
just
it.
had to laugh because the noises were so indicative of the personality of the child, like our really calm, genius son. He went in private and did his pig sound, and he said, "Oink," which is so him.
So him.
And then our other son that's a comedian, he made a fart noise instead of a pig sound.
Brother.
Which, it just cracked us up. It just was funny. And everyone was laughing so hard. And that was the most fun.
It was hilarious.
It was fun.
We were laughing. Okay, here's one of the pig sounds. Get ready. Oh.
I don't think it's...
You should try it sometime if you're looking for a good game idea.
The pig sounds.
It was really fantastic. We had a lot of fun.
Yes.
Laughed and laughed. It was hilarious.
Yeah, it was fun.
It was a great day. And the kids really loved it. And they actually really loved the prizes. Everyone loves to win a prize.
They weren't a prize. They were downright good presents.
They were great. It was a prize. Like you're winning a prize.
Yes.
It wasn't like White Elephant. They were real gifts. They were awesome.
Uh-huh.
Although the show tunes video still.
Yeah, we had
still here.
I had a DVD that's brand new that is has all the goodies,
The old show tunes.
Yeah, like 7 Brides for 7 Brothers, and
Yeah.
everyone's like, no thanks.
Yeah, no. Not so much.
Yeah.
But that was a great little it was a really fun family gathering. People enjoyed it.
Yeah. And fall is quickly upon
Oh,
us.
it is cold, rainy, windy.
Mhm.
We're moving headlong into fall. The high today, I think, is
66.
Fahrenheit.
Yeah.
Yeah. If we even get that. It's
Yeah.
below 50 right now.
Yeah, it's chilly.
It really is.
And it always makes me reflect. The fall every year makes me reflect. And so, of course, I reflect on my past. And when I do that, one of the strongest decades for me was the 80s. And so the other night I got up in the middle of the night because I couldn't sleep, and I watched the Whitney Houston documentary about her life. And it just gets me all thinking about that period of time. Okay, the 80s were so awesome. The best hair, the best music, the best clothes, the best movies. It was such an emotional decade.
Just think of Don Johnson driving his sports car into the sunset with that serious contemplative look on his face, because probably his buddy just got blown up.
Yeah, in a boat.
Some very horrible thing.
And he's listening to Phil Collins, and he's feeling his deep masculine
the emotional
feelings.
man of the 80s.
Yes, and then of course the music, and anyone that knows me knows that Michael Jackson was it for me.
Oh,
okay,
boy, you loved Michael. Until your mom forced you to get rid of all your Michael.
Well, let me tell you the story about that.
It's very sad.
Okay, I was so taken with Michael Jackson's dance moves and music. Like, it was my world. If you could be, you know how in the when the Beatles were so popular and girls would just be falling, fainting and crying and whacking out because they loved the Beatles so much. That's how I was with Michael Jackson. So everything I could get my hands on to purchase, I'd save money and get it. So I had a bunch of Michael Jackson stuff, like books and posters and the records. And I remember listening to Thriller on my record player and just sitting in my rocking chair, zoning out to the power of his music. I mean, it is so ridiculous when I think about it, but I was seriously into it, man. Oh my gosh.
Music is powerful.
So I was outside on the porch looking through this gorgeous Michael Jackson book. And I said to my girlfriend, I'm like, look how cute his bum is.
Bum.
Uh-huh.
Bum.
I'm like, look how cute his bum is. And I hear my mom, because she was in her bedroom and the window was open. She goes, Tiffany, come here right now. And I'm like, oh, shit. Now I'm in trouble for talking about a boy's bum. So I go in and she's like, you are out of control with all of this stuff. I want you to get every single thing out of your room that is Michael Jackson and throw it in the trash.
Oh, my God.
You
That
guys.
is terrible.
I want the listener to feel my pain right now. I thought I was going to die. And when my mother says something, she doesn't change her mind.
No, she does
So
not.
the only thing I could get her to do is I had to get all of my Michael Jackson stuff and give it to my best friend. She would let me do that. So at least it wasn't in the garbage. That stuff was probably the most important stuff I owned.
How did you feel?
I cried and cried, and I yelled at her and I said, I hate you. I will never, ever forgive you.
Did you?
Yes.
How long did it take?
Not very long. But
Did you get it back?
No. And
God.
here's the deal is that, I was raised to not be a worldly girl.
Oh,
And
Lord.
so I was appearing to be quite worldly to my mother because I'm talking about Michael Jackson's bum. And
oh, Lord help us.
And so, of course, I have all these thoughts about, I'm not being moral or whatever. Oh my God, how stupid. But that's when I was like 13. So I ended up going in my room, weeping and wailing, and getting all this stuff in a big bag. And I call my friend and I'm like, I have to give you all of my Michael Jackson stuff. And I'm sure she was thrilled to death. But, I never got over my love affair with him. I still think he is the most brilliant entertainer that has ever lived. And I loved Madonna, and I loved Whitney Houston so much, and Cyndi Lauper.
Oh, I was over
Prince.
in Aha and Depeche Mode.
Yeah, that
New
stuff
Order.
was a little too dark for me. I was more into the pop.
That was a new age.
Yeah.
New ager.
Yeah.
New waver.
Mm-hmm. And speaking of the 80s, last night, Jack whacked me in the nose with his elbow in bed.
Why is that the 80s?
I'll tell you why.
Okay.
Because I woke up this morning with a headache and I go in to tinkle this morning and I look in the mirror and I'm like, oh my God, I have 80s hair.
Oh,
and I was like, this is so awesome. This is the only time it's cool to have 80s hairs in the morning when you wake up, and it's so huge. I walk in, it's 4:30 in the morning, and I say to Jack, babe, I have 80s hair. And the first thing Jack does is start singing, hit me with your best shot. And I'm like, oh my God, we are truly from the 80s.
Which tied us right back into the night before when I was turning over and whacked you so hard in the bridge of your nose with the back of my elbow.
Your weenus.
No, it wasn't my weenus. It was right on the back of my arm, right above my elbow, right here.
Yeah. If you don't know what a weenus is, it's the
skin on your elbow. So stupid. Oh, Lord. Wow.
Yeah, because I think I was going to go in and start biting you. And
yeah, I think you
moved.
Probably were. I was turning over and you were turning over at the same time.
And so I woke up with a really bad headache. I thought maybe he had busted my nose. But
that would have been so bad. And then you have bruises. And then what do we do?
And then people would think you're an abusive husband.
Wow. That'd be terrible.
Right.
But I'm not. I'm a loving husband. So today we will be discussing the importance of words and how all the words we use are interpreted differently by everybody. And so the way that we're saying something, when you're or the way your person is saying something, it is imperative for you to ask for clarification. Just ask. Well, what do you mean when you say this?
Is that why you asked me last night at the restaurant, what did I mean by what I did?
Oh, when you belched out loud. We are uncovering all of our secrets for you this morning. So Tiff, we had to grab a quick bite to eat between clients. We're sitting there at the restaurant, just getting ready for our food to come. Tiff left out the loudest belch. I couldn't even believe what I was hearing. I looked at her and then she realizes all at once where she was and that she wasn't home and that she should not be doing what she's doing in a restaurant, no less.
Now, listen, this is my reasoning for all of this. I'm not like a big person, a person that's like big on like letting out huge burps. Sometimes that happens just because it does. But if you're a person that doesn't have a filter like me, when you go out in public, you have to put one on. It's not the other way around that you always have a filter on. And then when you're comfortable, you can take it off. I just don't have one. And so sometimes I go out in public and I do things I wouldn't naturally do if I was thinking before I did them.
Yeah, right. And that is true that you don't carry a lot of a filter because you feel pretty free in yourself. You're not worried about what other people are thinking, which is fucking awesome.
I was a little concerned about what people were thinking. Yes. I didn't look at one single person. Okay. I just put my head down and I could not stop laughing. And Jack was laughing and he goes, "Did you actually just do that?" And I'm like, I couldn't even speak. I was laughing so hard. I'm like, I've got to do something about myself.
No, you don't. Everyone belches at some point or another. Funny.
Yeah. And since we're so real on our podcast, we might as well just share it all.
And we just did. We just did.
So I did have, Jack and I had a really awesome experience of clarity last night. It was about 8:00, 8:30 at night. We were just finishing up our last client for the day. And when she was done, she said, I just want to thank you for helping me create my fairy tale life. And I thought about that right after she said it. And I thought, oh my gosh, as cliche as that sounds, that is really what we do.
Mm-hmm.
We help people get rid of all the junk that's keeping them stuck in what they don't want. And we teach them how to create a fairy tale life, the one that they want.
And we give you permission to be yourself, your star in your show.
And you know what's the best part is that we get to witness what they create and the joy that it brings in their life, which makes this job
the best job in the world.
Oh my gosh. There is really, I just can't even think of a better job for me.
It's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
I want to share two, people sent 2 messages to us. The first one is from our friend, love her. She's came in for a couple of sessions. I don't know her too much more than that, but Anna wrote, and she wrote this to us, and we cannot tell you how much it means when you share with us how what we're saying and the time that we spend sharing a message is changing your life for the better.
Yeah,
that's amazing. What we want. That's our intention. That's why we do what we do. So when you shoot these messages back at us, it is a love surge. Yeah. It's a big one. So Anna said, Tiff and Jack have made such a difference for me. I did 2 different healing sessions with them, and it's one of the best things I ever did for myself. Shout out to the sensitives, energetic, and empaths especially. They do a podcast, and I listened for the first time to this one today. It was exactly what I needed to hear to help me keep shifting back toward feeling better. Isn't that awesome?
Yeah, when we read those things, and these 2 got posted on Facebook yesterday, just right next to each other. And when we read that, it just, like, we just have this surge of love and appreciation for the fact that they're listening and that we can offer them this service of, assisting them to dump the overwhelm and live the happy.
Yeah, we're glad you're here.
Yes, thank you so much.
We're really glad you're here. And then Brittany of San Diego said, I have to tell you how much I love listening to the Tiff and Jack podcast. It's so enlightening and helps me get through the week and life in general. It's life-changing. Thank you both. I love listening to you.
Yeah,
and she talked about amazing. One of the books I mentioned about past lives, many masters. We're here to literally help you dump the overwhelm and live the happy. And part of the way we do that is to help you understand that it's okay for you to be real. It's okay for you to be yourself. It's okay for you to belch in public when it happens and just love yourself through it and realize that it's okay. We're all human and we're giving each other permission to be ourselves. And honestly, we're all messy. We're messy. We are here being messy, having a life, and our thoughts are creating our reality. And once you realize the universe has your back, that you don't have to be the one managing every single detail for things to work out, that the universe is actually doing that for you, life gets so much easier.
It totally
And you can actually enjoy yourself.
Life's pretty awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty awesome. Okay, should we just get to the nitty-gritty?
Let's do it.
Is there anything else you wanted to share?
No, I'll bring it up if it comes up.
Okay. So this is what we did. We both picked 5 words, and I don't know what Jack's 5 words are. Jack doesn't know what my 5 words are. So we're going to ask each other the definition of a word that we have picked for the other, and Jack or I will share what that definition is for us, and then we'll share what our own definition of that word is.
Yeah.
And that way you'll be able to see really clearly that you and your partner, or you and your friends, or you and your coworkers have a totally different definition of everything that you say.
Everything.
If I could talk about this for days and the entire world could hear me, there might be peace on the planet. Because what you will find is that even though you have a different definition of a word, you're most likely coming from a similar place.
Mm-hmm.
And the perception, and before we do these words, I want to talk about perception. Being born in the family that you're in, the religion that you're in, if you are in one, or the the culture of your community, there are a lot of things that are conditioning you to teach you definitions of things. And how is it even possible for you to get together with another person and have the exact same definition, or what we call your map? You don't have the same map because you come from a different place. And that's what brings diversity into the world, and so much brilliance and new ideas and thoughts and evolution, because we're all coming from a different perception. And it's so important. But if you expect someone else to have the same view, map, or perception of what you have, you're going to misunderstand that person, and you will be misunderstood, and there will be conflict and confusion. So clarifying things is very, very important in communication with whoever you're talking with. And what's very interesting is there's a really easy and fun way to really get to know the people in your life. And it's by doing this very thing that Jack and I are doing.
It is.
Now, is there any, excuse me, is there anything that you want to share about perception before we start on the words?
Well, I've had a very strong idea during a lot of my life that everyone looked at everything the way I did. And I think that may be indicative of most kids. As we're kids and we're growing up, we think the world is as we see it.
And if it isn't, it should be.
Right.
Yes.
Right. And so as I have grown and matured and gone through a lot of experiences and worked through a lot of things, I have loved realizing that all of us see everything so differently. And Tiff, as we've been doing our coaching, and when we do live workshops, we do a perception exercise where we send around a picture. Everyone jots down what they think the story is of that picture. And then we share everybody's stories of the same picture. Right. There's not one that's the same.
Not even close.
Not even close.
Yeah.
So getting to know, really, if you are in a relationship and this relationship matters to you, ask questions. What do you mean when you say blank?
Yeah. Or what's your definition of this word?
Yeah. Or I'm ready.
Well, and another thing too, when Jack was sharing, it's like, oh, I thought everyone believed the same way I did, and people don't. If they don't believe the same way I did, they should, because I'm right. This is a problem, because what makes this person's thought right and this person's thought wrong? Nothing. We're all right to ourselves. So this idea that, oh, everything is this way, this is the truth for everyone, is where people are running into problems. Now, remember, by the law of attraction, like attracts like. So many times in your life, you will find like-minded people. But what happens when you evolve a little bit and say the group that you're with is maybe staying in that thought process, but you choose to opt out of that thought process and evolve to a different place? What happens to you in that group?
You are on the outside.
You become on the outside, because groups like to stay together because they have a shared story. If you are no longer seeing the same story, then there's this feeling of like, oh, we don't have this in common. Maybe you should go to someone else that has that story. And this is where separation happens. Now, if you are a person that has evolved far enough to say, you know what, the diversity and the differences in all of these different groups give the color and texture and beauty of this world, then you're going to feel a lot differently about it.
There's such a powerful connector in our differences. And that's what this exercise and why what we're talking about is incredibly important. It's a very important topic because it allows you to connect more deeply with the people around you, especially those that may have obvious different ideas and beliefs than you.
Yes.
Nothing like expanding your horizon.
And how would you not have different ideas and beliefs and perceptions about something coming from where you came from?
Oh my God, even within the same family.
Oh, totally.
Every person within that family is having their own experience.
Have you ever noticed how the youngest child and the oldest child of all these siblings
have two different stories?
Have two different parents. Like they don't even have the same experience with the parents. And if you sit down in a room and say, what's your experience with your mother? Every person's going to have a different story about who their mother is, including the mother.
Yes.
And so here's a funny story. Do you remember a couple years ago, William turned on that YouTube video of the woman running around. The woman running around with the vacuum screaming, "Get out! Watch out! and screaming to her kids, help me, you're in all these things.
Because the guests were coming and they needed to get the house cleaned up.
Yes. And William said, Victoria, to our daughter, isn't this just like mom? And they were laughing so hard. And Victoria's like, well, I didn't really see the same thing. But William was so serious that that's how he perceived me. I don't know if I was offended or if I was just like in awe, because I'm like, wow.
Well, did you ask him what it meant to him?
Perception. I do remember when people would come over, I would turn into
that's what he's
a very strong person saying everyone has their job to do. Get your ass up and let's get this done.
That's what he was talking
about.
But
I really don't see myself the way that he saw me.
Right.
But I was like, wow, that is crazy. And I am very different than that now.
Yeah, you are.
But that's how he still perceives me. Maybe not today. That was a couple of years ago. But I thought that is so true of each person, even under the same roof, is going to have a different perception of everything.
Yeah.
So this is something that you can do that will really assist you in understanding other people. When you take the time to really understand where someone's coming from, that's where you can develop connection and understanding, and a lot of misunderstandings disappear.
Mm-hmm. It makes life better.
It does.
A lot better.
Okay, who's going first?
Okay, I'll go first.
Okay.
The first word I have for you is vacation.
Oh, vacation. Well, guess what I did this morning?
What?
Bag work.
Good.
On vacation.
Wow.
So vacation to me,
First of all, bag work. When she says bag work, you will hear us say that word. That's our proprietary process to help you actually clear out of your neural pathways the thoughts and the beliefs telling you why you can't or shouldn't enjoy or have something. So it's just a way to clear out the clutter.
Yeah, that's what we do in our coaching.
Yeah.
So I have a feeling that you probably were going to ask me more about travel and not vacation.
Mm-mm.
You want to know vacation?
Yes.
Okay. So vacation to me is where you have absolutely zero thought of anything, all your regimens, your work, your kids, everything. You are taking a break from the monotony and the duties of life to go and have total fun. That's what vacation is. Are you surprised?
No, actually, I'm not. That sounds pretty similar to what I would have thought.
Okay.
So for me, vacation means same thing, similar in the way of taking time off. But, if there's a little time to fit work in here, because
no.
like if, there's downtime and Tiff is taking a nap, I can just do a little work here and there. And,
yeah, that's against my vacation rules.
Not having anything really too set in stone that you have to do, just some general ideas, being spontaneous, going with the flow, just enjoying time off without having to meet any deadlines or do anything on a timeline.
Yeah, and I would say that work is absolutely not part of vacation.
We had a big blow up about this vacation. That's why I chose this word, because
that's so hilarious.
And
that's funny.
I've adopted your way of not working when we're on vacation.
I don't think that's true.
Well, yes, it is. I do go with the intention not to. Now, there are times and occasions which we set up beforehand that I may have to do a little bit of work
right
there. But now I do understand the importance of having time off.
Right.
Off of the typical work week.
Yes.
Right.
So as listeners, as you're listening to this, ask yourself the same question. What's my definition of vacation? And you'll hear that you have some differences. Yeah. Vacation is the opposite of work.
Yeah. I like that.
So that's mine.
I like that.
Okay. Are you ready for yours? Okay. So the first definition I want to ask you is the word marriage.
Marriage. The thing that comes to my mind is marriage is two people committed to each other, first and foremost, over anyone or anything else. Okay, yes, when I say that, your own personal work, so you have your place with yourself, and then the very next place is that person that you're married to. You're in a committed relationship, you're in a committed place with that person, and that you're a team.
Nice.
and that you're here to enjoy life together, not
Mhm.
necessarily do everything together,
Mhm.
but you each have your own areas that you really enjoy and do on your own. But when you're doing, your life is pretty well mapped out together. Like you know where the other one is, you know when they're going to be back, and
Mhm.
they're the first person that you talk to when you have something exciting or sad to share.
Mhm.
That's marriage.
Nice. Definition of marriage for me is the person that you are so excited to see every morning and you get the opportunity to live with them until you die.
I love that.
That's my definition of
The
marriage.
first person that you're excited to see every morning.
Oh yeah, every day that I wake up and I look at you, I just feel like it's Christmas.
That's so awesome.
I'm so
I love
serious.
that.
I think because marriage has like when I was a little girl, marriage to me was the fairy tale story. And I'm living that fairy tale story. That's why I loved what our client said, like, thank you for helping me create a fairy tale life, because I believe in fairy tales. And that is, that's what marriage is to me. Marriage is such a positive thing to me. So yeah, that's what marriage is. Now, commitment and all those things, those are the details of marriage. But when I think about marriage, I think, oh, that's the person that I'm so excited to see that I made that bond with, that I get to live with that person and wake up with that person every day for the rest of my life.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's a good one. Okay, your next word is fun.
Fun. Laughter is what fun means to me.
Mm.
Isn't that interesting?
Mm-hmm.
Like if I had to give you one word, I'd say laughter.
I like that. Fun to me is more about doing.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So
doing fun things, like, and fun things could be anything. It doesn't necessarily have to be something busy and fast. Like
what's fun to
going,
you?
well, lots of things are fun. Lots and lots and lots of things. Lots of things are really fun.
Uh-huh.
You know, one of the things that I enjoy doing with you is when we're reading a good book together.
Yeah.
And we go to the up to the botanical
And that feels
garden
fun.
and read a book. That's fun to me.
That's so interesting.
Is that fun to you?
I would never consider it fun.
Really?
I enjoy it. So I have a lot of joy in it.
Wow.
But fun to me is like belly laughter, uncontrollable belly laughter, that you are just having so much fun.
Yeah, I can understand that. And laughter would be part of the
Yeah.
fun experiences that I'm talking
Mhm.
about. But fun is a very big, broad subject area.
That's-
Covers a lot of
Yeah,
different
that's
experiences.
interesting, because to me, fun, I don't really think of anything being fun other than laughing.
Really?
Yeah, but like when we go, like when you said you go up to the lake, or up to Red Butte Garden, or to when we do the things, I really enjoy those things. But those feel like deep, meaningful things. And fun to me is not deep and meaningful. It's just kind of surface.
Wow.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's
It's
so
not
crazy.
So to me, fun is a deep and meaningful thing, because that's, to me, fun is what brings people closer together.
Oh wow.
So it's very deep and very.
Oh yeah, because
meaningful.
I can go out with someone I've never met before, and we can laugh at something so funny, and I'll never talk to them again, and I just had so much fun.
Right, and I see that as you've just created a connection with that person. When you
Oh my
really
God.
laugh with somebody,
That's
deep,
so interesting.
and you're sharing an experience, because you're actually sharing a similar emotion of happiness at the same time.
So that's why you're always like, this is just so fun.
Yeah.
And I always kind of look at you like, okay.
I think,
yeah.
I could say even when we're driving together, we're just going for a long drive or up the mountains or whatever, that's fun.
Oh, wow.
It's fun.
To me,
I would say sex is fun.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I don't
and
really.
So you have a different
I do.
meaning of fun.
Yeah, because when we drive up somewhere together, to me, that's restful.
So when you're saying, I just want to have fun, you're talking about you want to laugh.
Yes.
Whoa.
Because I say that a lot.
You do.
Especially at night.
And that always makes
work.
me think, okay, I've got to find something that would be fun to do.
Right.
And you're like, I just want to connect and laugh. And
yeah, I just want to laugh my ass off. Like if I can get drunk and laugh, like that's the funnest thing ever. But it's not like I get drunk every night. So sometimes I'm like, oh, I just really want to have fun right now. Wow. That's so fascinating.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Okay. The word that I have, are you ready?
Mhm.
Food.
You're asking me my.
Your definition of food.
So the first thing that came to my mind, and it could be because we were just talking about fun, was fun.
Oh.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, food. It feels like connection, fun, family, love. Wow.
Right.
It certainly wasn't like sustenance.
Yeah.
It feels more emotionally based, more out in the.
So when I'm like, oh, the food for dinner tonight is going to be so
Oh,
good.
yeah, that is, yes, yes. And honestly, talking about food, that reminds me of when you were doing you were on your cleanse
Uh-huh.
and eating different than I was eating, and I just hated it because it is even if
We
we're
weren't
just
really
eating
having that
something
much fun
normal,
together.
yeah, it felt like we weren't
And I
having
was like, there's not a
any
lot of laughter
fun.
happening right now.
Yeah.
Isn't
Yeah,
that
and I
wild?
love sharing food with people. So I love eating the same food with somebody and having a shared experience. I feel the same way about laughter. Like it's all about a shared connection.
Oh, wow.
That's
Yes.
interesting.
Yeah.
Okay,
This will give us
what
a lot
about
of
for you?
food for thought,
Yeah.
won't it?
What about you?
Food to me, the first thing that I think of is creating it for my family. Food means love to me. Because
I can see that.
when I create meals, like when I have a family dinner, this is what happens. Is I'm like, okay, the kids are all coming for dinner. What do our kids love to eat? What is something I've noticed that our son loves or Jack loves or our daughters love or whatever? I think about the things that they share that they love. And then I make a menu about what I know our children and Jack love. So I make a plan, then I make a list, and then I shop. And this is a ritual for me. Okay. Making the list is a sacred ritual. Deciding, making a list, then going grocery shopping. That's something that brings me deep joy in my life. And it's because all the love that I have is going into this experience. And then when I'm in the kitchen making the food, I don't want anyone in the kitchen. I'm having a sacred experience, loving experience with food to create for my family. And then I serve it. And if it's not very good, if I taste it and it doesn't up to my standards, many times I will try to throw it away.
Yeah.
Because it's not what I wanted. And Jack will be like, it's amazing, don't you dare. And then I'll serve it and everyone loves it. And I'm in a stupor about it. And I'm like, oh, this. So I associate the offering of love. This is one of the ways that I show my love is through food.
Yeah, you do.
Pretty interesting,
it's
right?
Beautiful.
And you associate it with fun and connection. Wow. I love it. Okay, next word.
Was that yours?
Was
it my word?
Yeah, it's your word.
Okay, I would like to know your definition of rude. That's rude.
Rude is an insensitive person. Someone that says or does something without being considerate of another human being is a rude person to me. Means you're being rude.
Huh. That's interesting. That makes perfect. That's sounds like a textbook example of what rude is, right?
I don't know.
To me, it's so funny because I hadn't really thought about my definition of rude. Let's see, a rude person.
Just the word rude.
I think not a rude person, but the word rude is someone that doesn't take the time to listen.
Oh, interesting.
Is rude.
That's why you never say that I'm
someone
rude.
That doesn't take time to listen or ask questions.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. I think that's a rude thing to do. And rude just feels like, here's the deal. We're all living in self-serving. Yes. Let's just get to the bottom of it.
Right.
We are all doing things what feels good to us, right? It's all about us ultimately, but we're all learning how to accept and love that place within ourselves. We're responsible for creating the life we love. So of course, it's about you. You're the creator of your experience. But then when we have these experiences of reaching out and connecting with other people, in that space is where you can either be rude or embracive of that person. And I think being rude is not engaging in a conversation, a two-way conversation with the person that you're with. So maybe doing all the talking,
Oh,
or
wow.
yeah, and never being like wanting to know something more about you or about that other person.
Wow.
Yeah, that's rude.
Interesting.
Yeah. And what was yours again?
Someone that's insensitive.
What
That
does
doesn't take,
insensitive mean?
it's not considerate of another human being.
So can I ask you, what is being considerate?
When you're making decisions that involve other people, just to at least consider
Yeah,
how it might be.
Yeah, you're really good at that.
Now, I am not a person that is like, oh, you have to do it the way that everyone is comfortable. I do not ascribe to that way of living,
No.
but I am considerate when I make a decision. Like if I make a big decision, I always talk to you about it,
Mhm.
and I always think about how it might affect the kids, and then I weigh those things out and make my decision from that place. And I feel like being a considerate person is just a really loving thing to do, and is the opposite of rude.
You are a very considerate person. That's something that I would say I've learned from you, in the way that you really put yourself in the shoes of everyone that's closely involved in the
Mhm,
scenario,
mhm,
and have a deep sense of understanding of what they may experience based
mhm,
on what you're choosing. And
mhm,
as a kind of a side note from that, even, and we're kind of going out here,
mhm.
but as a side note, once you make a decision to do something, so you weigh everything, you really look and think about this decision before you make it, and then
Mhm.
once you make it, you're solid in it, like you're committed to your decision. You're not going to back out, you're not going to flake out, unless God forbid you're in the ER, or you know what I mean.
Right.
You are very committed, you're very
Well, and
there.
here is why that's important to me, is I just feel like everyone's experience is to be honored by the people around them. And I just, as a loving gesture, I just feel really honoring of people's lives and experiences. That's probably why I can do the job that I do
Mhm.
and listen to people's stories, because I honor and respect their journey. Now, when I am being considerate of other people, it's about me honoring them in the space of my decisions.
Right.
Whether they feel sad or happy
Right.
doesn't dictate to me what decision
Right.
I make.
Because you're choosing an aligned choice
For
you,
myself.
and by so doing, you're in
Yes.
alignment, and then the energy around it,
Mhm.
you're being much more kind and loving to people by being aligned to yourself when you make a choice,
Right.
rather than thinking, oh, I have to do it for them, or I should do it this way, I have to do it this other way, rather than what I would really want. And it loses its power, its potency.
Right.
If you're doing something for another person, or making a decision because you think they want it, there's
Yeah, I
not
don't do
power
that.
in that.
Right.
It's hollow,
Uh-huh.
and it will crumble.
Yes. And so, yeah, that's that. Like I don't really even really use the word rude very often. It's not even really part of my life experience.
That's why I wanted to know what it meant to you.
Yeah, that's interesting. Really interesting.
That is.
And to the listener, when you do this with people, you do these definitions, they will spark conversations.
And so when you're out to dinner and you're running out of things to talk about,
Right.
think of a word that
Right.
you want to know what that person, how they see that word and what it means to them, and you will have a conversation.
Right.
And you will actually get to know each other.
Right.
And then they need to ask you as well.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Okay, you ready for the next word?
Yes, I am.
Okay, the word is adventure.
Ooh.
Oh, that got you excited.
I love
didn't
that
it?
word. I love that word. It is a big, exciting word. To me, life is an adventure. I think that's where you and I may have some differences, maybe not, but I feel so excited when I'm leaning into the unknown, and I don't know where it's going, but I know what I want, and I know the universe has my back, and I know that what I want wants me, and it's mine to have, but I don't quite see how we're going to get there.
Yeah.
That is an adventure. I love adventure. I like going to different parts of the city that I've never been in. I like driving down streets I've never seen. I like going to other places where I am pushed way outside of my comfort zone of what is normal. Like when I was in Guatemala doing co-leading an expedition for Choice Humanitarian in Guatemala. Oh, it was amazing, because we were in the high jungles, just staying on the dirt floor, and it was phenomenal. to see a different what they were washing their clothes, just like scrubbing them with a really big brush. Each piece they had a hand wash and scrub it out, and tons of mud and dirt. It was awesome. That's adventure.
Wow.
I love adventure. How about you?
I have one word for adventure.
What is it?
Risk.
Risk.
Uh-huh.
Wow.
Or I have another word, unknown.
Wow.
Unknown risk.
Wow.
And I don't like it.
Wow.
But that being said, if you take me on adventures, I trust you and I will do it.
Yeah, you do.
But if
And that's actually,
I would never, ever, ever, and I mean ever, go to Guatemala and lead an expedition. I would rather die. Did you hear how serious I was then?
Can you tell how close she is to the microphone when she's saying that?
Oh my gosh. And one thing I know about you, babe, is that you are an adventurer of epic proportions.
I love
and
adventure.
I love that you are, because I get to experience many amazing things in life. And I am not that way naturally. I am a person that really likes to be at home and to create a vacation home where we live. And I like things to kind of be like wrapped up in a blanket. And when we go on a trip or something, you kind of have to work with me a little bit.
Do you enjoy it once we do it?
I totally dig it.
So you do.
Like when you took me to Hawaii, do you remember how freaked out I was? I couldn't even sleep the night before.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I don't know what to expect. I don't know what's going to happen. Oh my gosh, this is so scary to me. Anyway, I got there by the ocean and I had such a marvelous time in some ways, and in others it wasn't that great. And it was just like, oh my gosh, that was a little too much adventure. I need to take a rest now.
Well,
yeah.
And I believe this speaks to the balance of masculine, feminine energy with lead and receive. And the masculine, I would say the masculine energy tends towards the more adventurous and loves to take the feminine on an adventure.
Yeah.
And you're awesome in the way of loving and being willing to go.
Well, you're really,
when it feels
really
like a risk.
It's a risk.
Wow.
Adventure means risk.
Wow. Big difference.
Right?
Yes.
It's not risky to you at all.
Not one
You
bit.
don't feel
Not
any
one
ounce
bit.
of risk.
None.
Oh my God.
I mean, maybe there's this little twinge of risk, but it's like exciting risk. It's the thing that makes it kind of exciting for you to
oh my gosh,
figure it out.
Yeah.
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 Wow. That's fantastic. That's fantastic. Okay. So your next word is rest.
Oh, rest.
Mm-hmm.
Rest to me means flow or doing things in a state of surrender.
You might want to just share a little bit of what a state of surrender means or flow means to you.
The state of surrender to me is being very clear on what I want and then completely releasing the how it happens and allowing the universe to bring it in. And that means that I get to be restful in my life. I don't have to worry. It means lack of worry. Ooh. That is what rest.
Wow.
I mean, that is what
rest.
Oh yeah, that's what rest means.
Lack of worry.
Lack of worry.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. And I choose to live a life where I release worry by setting very clear intentions of what I want and allowing the universe to bring it in. And it works beautifully for me.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what our whole business is to teach people how to have a restful life, in my perception.
Yeah.
They might be like, it's an exciting life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yes. And yes, in your perception.
Uh-huh. Yeah. I can't stand the emotional response of worry. I cannot stand it.
Yeah. It's rough.
Yeah.
It really is rough.
Yes.
That is part of the biggest reason why we do this podcast is to help you, our listener, remember you're going to have times that make you worry, and you're going to have things come in your life that you're not sure of, and you're in the unknown and you don't know what's coming. But we're here to reassure you and remind you that you're not alone and the universe has your back, and that you have help moving for you and with you and bringing the things that you want for yourself into your experience. And your main job is to open up and allow those things to come in. Don't resist, shift, and change, because that's a part of the reworking to bring something new in. You can never receive something new if your hands are grasped tightly on the old.
Mm-hmm.
So just remember, sometimes it requires letting go.
Mm-hmm.
But okay, so
Your definition.
my definition of rest is Sudoku. It's sitting outside, listening to the wind chimes and the wind on a really nice day, reading a book that I love. Rest is taking a nap. Rest is not having to get up and get shit done.
So it means relaxing.
Yeah.
The things that you do to relax.
For sure.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't really feel like it's tied to worry. Like yours
Isn't that
lack of
interesting?
worry.
Yeah, lack of worry is rest.
Wow, that's fascinating.
I feel like if there's no worry in my life, I live a very restful existence.
Yeah. And so you learning how to manage your worry was key.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because worries always
And I feel like
up.
I live a super restful life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so
Isn't
cool.
that crazy?
Yeah, it is.
Oh my
I
gosh.
like it.
Okay. The next word is success.
Ooh. Is this for me?
Yes.
Success. To me, success is a way of living. Success is trusting the unseen, that the universe has my back implicitly, and that there's not one thing on this planet I cannot accomplish. That to me is success.
Wow.
So it's not about a certain number in my bank account. It's not about having the certain watch on my wrist or driving the certain car or any of those things. It's not anything outside of myself. Success is the power, the personal power that I have in the trust of the universe to manage the details for me to have everything I want, and that I live a life of taking inspired action based on the intuitive thoughts and things that come in based on what it is I'm creating. Success, adventure, I love those words.
I know. That's why I picked
They
them.
feel
because I know
so
my husband.
good.
Success to me means a lot of money.
Wow.
And the reason is because
hilarious.
I know, listen, the reason is because I am a measurement person.
Yeah,
so I'm
you
like,
are.
if I do this and this equals this.
That's true.
So if I do this and this, then the outcome is either successful or not as successful or not successful. And that means that I will change the equation.
Yep.
Yeah, that is how
But then how do you define it? Is this a
It's
certain
my
number?
Yeah, it's the definition that I come up with. I don't really ascribe to what people say is successful.
Well, of course not. Everyone has their own view.
Right. It's my view of success within self. And if we're more productive, if we're more productive in one way, 1 year than the last year, I'm like, oh,
that was successful.
That was successful.
Huh.
Yeah. It's building and becoming those things are becoming more prosperous or more what is the word abundant. More abundance in all areas of life but if I feel like it's gone backwards, then it's not successful. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I can say it easily, like lots of money. Or a healthy body. Or lots of joy.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's very.
You're looking at me.
Yeah,
in an interesting
we could have a very long conversation about this. Actually,
because are you going to try and change my mind about what it should be?
Why would I do that?
I don't know. But what would we be talking about?
I just think it's fascinating. I just think it would be a great conversation, but that'd be another podcast.
Yeah, totally.
We'll have one based on success.
Now, I could share that with someone, and they'll be like, "Oh, that's not really the definition of success."
Well, there's no one definition.
That's right. And if it feels comfortable to you to have the definition you have for a certain word, then it's okay to have it be that way. On the other hand, if you don't like your definition of a word, you can actually change it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, you're ready for your last word?
Yes.
There are two that I was thinking of, but I'm going to do this one. Okay. Woman.
Woman. Oh. I have lots of definitions. So I'm trying to think of simple, because that's how I do everything. I simplify everything. So to me, woman means powerful, means gifted, means nurturing, means loving, means persuasive, means sensual, means sexual, means power. And in essence, a powerhouse of power. Like I just see the word woman with the synonymous with the word power.
I love that.
Mm-hmm.
So my vision or my word, woman, what that means to me.
Your definition.
My definition, the and I'm going to clarify because we do talk about feminine and masculine, women and men, feminine and masculine. We all have both within us, but we tend to be predominantly more masculine or more feminine in our expression. It has nothing to do with gender.
Right.
So just we'll put that baseline there.
Okay.
And when I'm talking about a woman, I'm talking about a feminine, expressive, dominant feminine energy woman. And I would say that that person is the most powerful force on this planet, just by living in her true essence of expression. And that the feminine energy woman is a powerful enlightener and brings the good and the power out of the masculine, for the masculine to stand in their power by nature of living and expressing their exquisite expression of beauty or color or art or word or touch or affection. That there is nothing more powerful than that energy on this planet. And that it's calling all of the rest of the world to rise up and to express love.
Wow. I think we might agree on this one. That's pretty similar. I guess that's why we're married.
I guess so. Because you are that. Because you are that. Truly you are. Truly you are.
Okay, I only have one word left.
What is it?
Intimacy.
Ooh. Do you want the very first word that came to my mind?
Exactly what it was. Go ahead.
I would say the very first word that popped into my mind was sex. Okay, so that's the word. And then I have all these other words to describe intimacy to me, because it's not just about the physical act of sex, but then I have to describe sex. And sex to me is the place where you experience the deepest connection you can have with another living being.
Yeah.
And it can be done in a way that is not intimate. So when I'm saying sex in relation to intimacy, it is about that deepest connection that you could possibly ever experience.
Yeah, that is the first thing that pops in your mind is sexual connect. The depth of sexual connection.
But the sexual connection would not be the same if we didn't have the deep intimacy of all the conversations and the love and the being there, the working through conflict and having resolution and being a team and creating a life and a family and all those things that we do together. Like when we started out with marriage and we talked about marriage and what is that? Marriage and intimacy go hand in hand. I would only choose a marriage that has deep intimacy in it, because a marriage without it would feel hollow. And the way to have deep intimacy to me is to be willing to see your own discrepant thinking and having a deep desire to know the person you're with at the deepest level without wanting to change them.
Wow. That's awesome.
And when I say not wanting to change them, I'm not saying that there aren't things about ourselves that we all are in the process of shifting and changing and growing more and becoming more aware and more conscious and making different choices that feel better and better to us. But when you're with somebody and you truly want to understand them as a human being, as a spiritual being, that is where the intimacy starts and grows. But it's not just the physical.
That's pretty powerful. It makes me think about my own definition. My own definition is pretty basic and simple. Intimacy just means deep connection to me. And you can be intimate with a lot of people. Now, the two words sexual intimacy has a completely different meaning. But intimacy in general to me is being able to connect with another person. And I think one of the frustrations of my life is that the way that I feel like you can connect is if both parties are their true authentic selves and they're vulnerable. So standing in vulnerability with another person allows you to connect on a spiritual or energetic level, and that is intimacy. And it's a very rare find. It is a very, very rare find.
It is.
In my perception. And I know a lot of people, and I love all the people in my world and that I interact with. And it is very interesting. I wouldn't say that I am intimate with very many people.
I don't think it's really possible. I don't think people have enough bandwidth.
So, interesting little side note. This is just making me think of not being able to connect with someone. And it's because there is a misunderstanding because of our perception.
That's true.
Yeah. So I was thinking the other day, bumped into an old friend that said that's a religious person, and started talking about someone that they had talked to, and said, yeah, they don't ascribe to any religion, and they just said that they were spiritual. And my friend said, well, obviously they don't believe in anything then. And for a split second, I thought to myself, you obviously don't know who you're talking to right now, because everyone that knows me or listens to us knows that we are very spiritual people that do not ascribe to religion. So in essence, she was saying people that like you that are just people that are spiritual don't really believe in anything, which I thought was very fascinating, because I have deep, deep beliefs about many things that are spiritually natured, including universe and God and all kinds of things. So to me, that just represented that there can't be intimacy in that relationship. And sometimes I think I feel sad about that. Like I would, I feel like I would like to be able to connect with more people, but you know, I have a full life ahead of me, and you and I have an amazing intimate relationship. Aside from sexual intimacy.
I actually really appreciate that you brought in that comparison, that yes, there's the sexual intimacy that we share, that level of intimacy that we choose not to share with anyone else outside of our marriage.
Yeah.
And then there's intimacy. Really, intimacy is about being connected with people and having that connection. And I can see that there are certain people in lives, you know, for you, our listener, and for us, that it's worth getting to the bottom of the differing opinions. Right. So, like, sometimes people will spout out something that is fundamentally opposed to how you believe. And sometimes you just let it go, walk away. You know, it's like, okay, have a great day. Bye-bye. And there are other people that when they say that same thing, it's worth it to you to establish an understanding of where they're coming from, and them the same with you. And you both leave that conversation better people. And a deeper connection, and more intimacy established, and some relationships warrant that, and some don't, and that's okay. You know, that's true. That's okay. It's not like we, you know, it's okay to not have every relationship feel like it's
your BFF.
The most,
Who has time for that?
But the BFF, the BFF, and the intimate, deep, intimate relationships, those are the ones where you need to get to the bottom of the differences, the way you're looking at things, especially if you're going on vacation together. Figure out what it means to both of you, and then create a plan that's going to work, that feeds you both. Because that is the secret of life.
Yes.
Right.
And I want to thank you for sharing your definitions of things. It's got me thinking.
I know, me too.
I'm like, oh,
me too.
Adventure. So adventure is really important to you. And I knew that. But now hearing in detail about how you feel about adventure opens my mind to maybe changing my mind about thinking it's risky.
Ooh, I like that.
Right?
Yeah.
Because, you know, if you live for adventure and your wife is like, that's so risky, you know, that's not a common ground to stand on. So I'm going to be thinking about it.
Well, and I'm quite impressed that risk was the first thing that came to your mind, and you're always willing to go along on an adventure.
Yeah, I am, totally.
So that,
as long as you like take
have
the
it
lead
figured
with it,
out.
Yeah. And explain things to me before we do it. It makes me feel a lot more comfortable, and I feel less at risk.
Yeah.
And I don't like to feel like I'm at risk.
Yeah.
It makes me very upset.
Feeling at risk is never a good feeling.
Yeah, I don't really like that feeling very much. And even though I know full well that being at risk is an illusion most of the time.
All right. So as we wrap up today, we invite you to get to know your person or the people that you love better. Ask the questions. When they say something, don't assume you know what they're talking about. Uncover it. Say, what do you mean when you say this word?
And
What does
just
that mean to you?
always know that whoever you're communicating with is looking at a completely different pair of glasses than you are. And you might find more commonalities than you thought, or you might find a lot less than you assumed. So ask questions. And this is actually a really fun game to play with your person.
It's a great conversation starter.
Yeah, really. I love it.
And Anna and Brittany, thank you for sending in your love notes to us about what you're getting out of our podcast. We hope that we've shared something today that makes a difference and lightens up your life and gives you more hope and trust that the universe has your back, because it really does. You truly are not alone. If you have the wherewithal to jump onto iTunes, if you're listening to us through iTunes and could write a review, that would be such an awesome gift that you give us. The more reviews, the better. It just gets our podcast more seen when we have more reviews. And also, if there's something that we've said that you love, share us with your friends. That's the way we get the word out, is by word of mouth. And you're all doing a fantastic job. We thank you. We love you. Thank you for being here. And remember, if nothing else,
eat dessert first.
Because life is meant to be devoured.
Amen.
We're Tiff and Jack.
We will be back.
Always.